Alright guys, so in this video I'm going to, well first of all, let me encourage you to please subscribe to my channel, please spread awareness of it, and if you find value in my work, please support it through patreon.com/midnightbastard. You're not obligated to do that. If you just want to listen, that's fine, do that too. So, in this video I'm going to give you guys a way to examine my claims. So, my claims would be useless if they're not testable, if I'm not making predictions, if my theory is not falsifiable, then it's not a theory, it's just a joke. So I'm giving you here ways to test the things I'm saying and see how much of it is valid or not. Mind you, I'm a person, just like you. I'm subject to errors, I make mistakes. I've taken care, given the importance of this topic, to double check and triple check and quadruple check on everything I'm saying here. So I'm not presenting a full picture right in front of you. I'm doing it in bits and pieces because the information is vast. It's overwhelming, and it comes from many different sources and from different fields of science that are not directly related to each other. For example, cybernetics, cognitive function, things of that nature. So let me give you a clue as to what we're going to do here. In this video, I'm going to give you a way to test the linchpin of my claims. So if this doesn't pan out, you don't even have to waste your time with the rest of my theory. Because if this is the big part here. This is the one that says, all right, this guy's probably onto something, or this guy's full of shit. All right? So if you've watched my videos and I've communicated my ideas clearly, then you understand that what I am trying to say is that autism arises as a function of stress that goes unrecognized for what it is, and others then misperceive this stress signal of avoidance, like the loss of eye contact, the loss of speaking, and the loss of listening. Others confuse that as a signal of incapacity where the child can't perform things. They can't perform certain functions. And what develops over time as a consequence of that vicious cycle that develops is where the child internalizes these artificial limits as to what they can and cannot do. And as such, in front of others, specifically others, and within the environments where this expectation is created, reflexively they will not be able to function in front of these people and in front of people and circumstances that are similar to those that originate these feelings. So that, for example, if a person encounters a particular type of person later on in their lives, they'll lose their voice with that person. If they encounter a certain feeling that takes them back to a previous experience, they'll lose their ability to function. And this could be they'll lose their voice, they'll lose their ability to just think clearly, they'll become confused. All sorts of things where the person's mindset will revert to a hyper-diffident state, which is essentially an oscillation between thought and action. In other words, to call that is a panic attack. But I like to be more specific in my phrasing so that you can get a sense of specifically what is happening. If you want to see what a hyper-diffident response looks like, I suggest you go to YouTube and input into the search bar Michael Bay walks off stage. I don't mean to single anybody out here, but Michael Bay is a big boy. I think he can take it. Michael Bay walks off stage. Basically, I think it's pretty apparent from this video that you'll see that Michael Bay suffered a panic attack. But I say this is a hyper-diffident response. That is in effect an oscillation between thought and action, meaning I am doing this thing here, all these expectations exist around it, I do not want to fail, how should I go about this? Basically the person's thought process just hits every freaking corner possible except the thing that they're attempting, and they lose focus in a way that aggravates itself further and amplifies them into dysfunction. So it's an extreme form of performance anxiety. And if the person experiencing this performance anxiety is not able to communicate it for what it is, if they're not able to say, hey guys, I'm suffering a little panic attack here while you're asking me to tie my shoelace, then it just seems like they're inherently incapable of doing what is being asked of them. And the person prompting them to do this thing might have the best intentions. No one's trying to hurt a kid by asking them, to practice tying their shoelaces. No one's trying to hurt a kid by encouraging to take a few steps forward. But if the child is perceiving these signals as stressors that are reinforcing what I call this spotlight sensitivity, well, they'll just freeze in place. They might even be reluctant. So even if they're able to do that, they just don't want to take the chance with failing at it. So how do you prove something like that? Very easy, very easy. For example, it's the case, and this is a known fact, that autistic people's function improves when they're around a favored animal, when they're around older people, when they're around younger people, when they're basically able to feel at ease, when they don't feel that external judgment. They're able to better function. So what I am predicting is simple. Many autistic people, enough that you will notice. I can't throw out numbers because I'm not running surveys and I'd be making it up, and I don't want to do that. But many autistic people, a portion you will undeniably notice, when they feel themselves unobserved, when they feel themselves not at risk of being caught doing whatever it is they're doing by themselves, when they feel themselves safe to be themselves without any external judgment coming through, their ability to function will increase. With some people, it will be by a little bit. With some people, it will be drastic, meaning that you'll have people who are perceived to be nonverbal, meaning they don't speak at all, and then there's others that are merely simply low verbal. But you will see many of them having full-blown conversations with themselves, with their toys, through imaginative play, singing, just practicing vocabulary. You will find them doing this, and this should not be possible if, in fact, they suffer from an executive dysfunction that prevents normal behavior that anyone else would do. So remember what I said in that other video. It is absolutely impossible, and you know this is true. It is absolutely impossible for anyone to start speaking overnight without having practiced first for years. So if it appears that any autistic individual is just overnight talking, like I remember this past summer, there was that hit song by Nas and Billy Ray Cyrus, Old Town Road, and there was a case that hit the news of this autistic kid. I forget how old he was, but he hadn't spoken in years, and he came out of nowhere singing that song because it set him off. It set him off, and it released him. So obviously, it is not possible that this child was not speaking prior to that instance, because it takes years of practice to learn how to move your lips, to learn how to place your tongue inside your mouth, to learn how to use your vocal cords, to learn how to connect syllables together, to learn how to put words together into sentences into paragraphs. All of this takes years and years of practice. So clearly, that child was practicing out of sight. Clearly. There is no gene that can do that can turn you on it like that and help you function so that you can suddenly speak out of nowhere. If there is, and I am ignorant to this gene, please point me to it. Please point me to whatever science you're aware of that would contradict my claim in that regard. But this is a linchpin. This is a linchpin. If I fail in this test of my theory, my theory and this prediction do not pan out, then you do not need to waste yourself with the rest of it, because this is it. This is the big portion of it that has to work. It has to be as I am describing it in order for the rest of my theory to have any place in reality. So, again, my claim is simple. Performance anxiety inhibits function. This inhibited function to others appears as an innate inability to take on tasks, which then invites the interference of outsiders, which then creates these internal structures of belief in the person and their self-image where they believe they cannot do things. So this will either pan out or it will not. So with that said, please subscribe, please spread the word to others, and if you find value in my work, please support my work through patreon.com/midnightbastard. Whatever contribution you could give, if any, would be greatly appreciated. And it keeps me on focus, it keeps me on track doing this. So thank you very much, and let me know what you discover.